I did not realize that if you bring a car down here, they shoot you in the face.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Just Another Struggling Writer, the beleaguered author's one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Well, welcome to Crunch Diaries episode 2. If you managed to get all the way through last week's almost 90-minute vlog, first of all, well done. You deserve a cookie. Secondly, you would know that last week was a bit of a roller coaster for this manuscript. Is it just because you heard me talking? I give you no encouragement. My intention was to write for 20 hours in the week and get at least 2,400 words every single day. And yeah, that didn't happen. I haven't done the math, but I think I did about half of both of those numbers. And part of that was because in the last half of the week, I started having a little bit of a crisis of confidence with regards to the manuscript and the draft, feeling like it wasn't a good book. And as much energy and labor and love I had put into it, it was for naught. Over the weekend, I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I should change the plot again, or rather take elements from draft 1 that I had cut and reintegrate them. And after 3 days of back and forth, that is what I ended up deciding to do. As a result, I'm actually pretty excited about where this draft is going. Not just because I think this is the most exciting version yet, and yes, I know I have said that every single time, but truly this combination is going to be the most action-packed and the most propulsive, but also because it spares me some labor. The last 4 chapters and the epilogue are going to change very, very, very little, and I am going to be able to take more from draft 1 than I had originally planned, which saves me on time and energy, which is a good thing because, as you guys know, I am 18 days away from my deadline, and I still have half the book to write pretty much, because the other revelation that I had was that the original midpoint was not quite the actual midpoint. I needed to write another chapter, and that ended up extending my word count about 6,000 words. So here we are. It is Monday. I wrote all of chapter 16 last night, but was not able to do my edit pass. And I had originally intended to maybe tackle that at work, but I didn't. I was the only one in the building today, and I just got really paranoid that I was gonna, because when I do my edit pass, I'm actually reading the chapter out loud to make sure everything sounds good and flows and all of that. It really helps with catching spelling errors and crutch words and all of that. And I was just I became worried that as I was reading out, that if I were to be reading out loud, I would not hear someone walk in, and then they would walk in on me reading out loud to myself. Anyway, so I instead took about half an hour out of my lunch break, and I wrote the first 250 words of chapter 17. So it is just about 8:30, so I'm going to get started a little bit early, but what I'm going to do to get started is do that edit pass of chapter 16. And then my goal for the night is to just write chapter 17, the rest of chapter 17. I don't anticipate it being very long, only between 2,000 and 2,500 words. If I could do that, then I'll feel really good, because I really do need to be writing a chapter a day at this point, even with the the chapters I'm able to copy over. I'm really, really trying to be mindful of the time and push myself past what I probably normally would do. Because this week I have quite a bit going on. I only work today and tomorrow, but that is because on Wednesday I have to take my son up to get his learner's permit, which is frightening, not because I think he'll be a bad driver, but because I can't believe my son is getting a learner's permit. And then the rest of the day is going to be spent preparing for my daughter's choir trip. So Thursday through Sunday, we will be traveling. Thursday, we're going to drive down to San Antonio for All-State Choir, which she made. We'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll get up in the morning on Sunday and head back because I unfortunately will have to work on Monday. Wednesday, I could probably get some writing done. I just have his thing in the morning. And then I would like to film and edit a video so that when I come back on Sunday, I don't have to worry about it. But I also have homework that I need to be doing because I'm going to be out of town all weekend. Thursday, I'll be driving, and then we'll be hanging out at the hotel. She'll have a short rehearsal. I have a parent meeting. Friday, she's in all day, a rehearsal pretty much all day, and then a choir activity in the evening, which I'll have to chaperone. And then Saturday is the performance, so she'll be in dress rehearsals and then the performance, and then we'll have Saturday evening to ourselves, and then Sunday it'll be driving back. And anyway, so squeezing in writing to that schedule is going to be a little touch and go. As much as I can get out ahead of where I need to be, the better. Dabble has updated. I'm not totally in love with all of the changes. I'm really, really disappointed in how the word count tracker bar has been fucked. I'm hoping that gets fixed. Originally, when I refreshed my page and the update applied, I didn't have a goal anymore for the draft. It just completely wiped out the word count, the final word count target, and all of that, and how many words per day you would need to achieve that. And then it also wiped out my progress bar, which was my favorite feature because I used it constantly, especially because I'm so determined to be precise with the 6x structure and making sure all of the checkpoints are at where they're supposed to be. I can't do that anymore. The progress bar now, it's only tracking progress starting from today, apparently, and not total words in the manuscript based on what the final goal is, which is irritating. I hope that gets fixed. But it says that I need to be writing 3,000 words a day, which is scary because 2,000 is already a stretch. Like I said, I'm going to just focus on writing a chapter a day. Fortunately, the last half of the book is so propulsive and action-packed that I'm hoping I feel that energy and I can just fly through it. I think that is all the admin. So without further ado, let's just go right into the writing. Right into the writing. Okay, we're going to do this quickly because it's almost midnight and my partner just came to bed, so I'm out here. And also my camera battery is about to die, so that writing session fucking sucked. Oh my god, it sucked. I had a really hard time with that chapter. I got those first 287 words at work, and then I had the worst blockage getting back into the scene. I could not figure out how to move on. And so I ended up laying down in bed for an hour trying to figure out what I was going to do. Eventually, the only solution I could come up with was to just
skip a few paragraphs and get into the part where I kind of knew what I was going to do. But even then, it just felt like, it never really felt like I was writing my story. It just felt like I was going through the motions and imitating what I thought the scene should be like. It is kind of a tense, like, character scene. There's, like, the main character is confronting another character about possibly withholding some information. Anyway, she's just been exposed to some other information that was kind of a shock to her. And so she's, like, high intensity, high emotion, and she's already kind of a firecracker. So anyway, I find that I really struggle with confrontations and characters who have difficult relationships. And yeah, it was a struggle. And the other thing that I was really irritated by is that it's just, the scene just never felt like it needed to be that long. I mean, it ended up being close to 2,000 words, but I was just like, man, this scene is not very long. Does it really need to be its own chapter? But it does, because it's just long enough to justify being its own chapter. But it's just like, it was just a moment where I felt like incompetent. I felt very incompetent writing that scene, but it does the job for now. I'm going to be really interested to get back into it, hopefully tomorrow, but I might actually not edit it tomorrow. I might give it a few days and then come back to it and see if I can whip it into shape. The good news is that it, like I said, it does do its job. It moves me forward, and the outcome is what it will always be. And it's just, the journey of how to get to that outcome is where I felt that it was not my strongest work. So I am able to go to the next scene without feeling like a ton of writer's block. And so hopefully, once I've gotten some distance from it, I can get back in and edit it and make it better. That's my hope. So yeah, I probably won't do the edits tomorrow. I might read through it and see if anything jumps out at me. Unless that happens, we'll probably leave the edits for another day. Anyway, so that fucking sucked. And I really, 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 really wanted to get over 50,000 words, but it never materialized. I did end up going back after I finished the scene and filled in that gap that gave me the block in the first place, and thinking that would be enough to fill out the last couple hundred words I needed. And it wasn't, because nothing is going right tonight, apparently. Nothing is going right tonight. I'm hilarious, and I'm going to bed.
Where have you been? Where have you been? I miss you now. Where have you been? Where's your head? Where's your head at?
Hey y'all, it is now Tuesday evening. It's just after 9 o'clock, and I am just about to sit down and tackle chapter 18. I did get a small amount of words done earlier today, 119. So I've got an in, at least, which I am very appreciative. Thanks, past me, for that solid. But before I get into it, I just wanted to just pause and just kind of reflect on what I wrote yesterday and my feelings on it and how I'm going to move forward. I have not yet reread chapter 17. I'm kind of afraid, because I woke up this morning feeling like maybe I was a little bit too harsh on myself yesterday and last night for the quality of chapter 17. It's a first draft. It's a completely new scene. As such, it's going to be of a first draft quality. It's not going to be a clean edit pass. And because it's a brand new idea, I never really took the time to refine it. So while I think that my feelings in the moment were valid, and I think being frustrated and dissatisfied with what I wrote was valid, I don't know that I will take that same thought today. Actually, tomorrow. I have decided I'm not going to look at it today at all. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to focus on getting chapter 18 written, mostly because I think I should feel better about it. I should be able to copy some from draft 1 a little bit, really just the end. But that's fine. My goal this week, last week I had like a target word count and a target like amount of hours. This week it's really all about getting through the chapters. So if I could get through a chapter a day through the end of the month, I will be in good shape to actually finish. So to that end, I'm going to focus on just writing chapter 18. Again, I feel much stronger about it just because I have a better idea of it than I did the previous chapter, and I will be able to copy in some words. Oh my God, I'm so sick of this chair. My desk chair has that problem where like it doesn't hold the pressure. So when you're sitting at the highest height, which I do because I have long legs, it just constantly like slowly shrinks you back down to the lowest. And I am putting one of those cross-legged chairs on my Christmas wish list. I just shrunk again. But tomorrow, starting tomorrow, actually like tonight technically, but tomorrow I don't have work. I am off the next 3 days to prepare and attend the All-State Choir Conference with my daughter. We don't leave till Thursday, but tomorrow, I took tomorrow off as well just to get ready. And then I utilized that time also to schedule my son to get his learner's permit. I can't believe I have a driver. So I got to knock that out early in the morning. Our appointment is at 9:50. But we have to drive a little bit of a distance. So basically the first thing I'm going to do in the morning. Then after I get back, I just need to pack and make sure that my daughter is packed as well because she's, my ADHD gremlin. And that's it. My only other plans for tomorrow are to film a couple of videos. I have been thinking lately that this is nothing to do with writing. So warning for a peek behind the curtain. But I have been thinking lately that my problems with like my view count on my videos are probably to do with the fact that I have damaged myself in the algorithm with my inconsistent posting history. And so I was thinking about my 5-year plan video today, and I went back and rewatched it, and I was really, really thinking about how I was committed to the goal of being a full-time author and content creator within 5 years, and then proceeded to take a 4-month hiatus. All of that to say, what I was thinking I could do to kind of help myself out in the future is to pre-film a bunch of videos that aren't really tied to a specific like time or project or anything. And then the next time I feel a mental slump coming on, I can just schedule all of these videos to fill in the gap. So that way I'm still posting consistently and not hurting myself in the long run with the algorithm. I would like to film at least 2 tomorrow, but one would need to be scripted, and I haven't done that yet. Those shouldn't take terribly long to film, even if I film both of them, maybe an hour and a half. And then what I would like to do after that is maybe edit one of those videos, maybe, not urgent, and then edit chapters 17 and 18. And then in the evening, get chapter 19 written. So that's kind of my plan. I just wanted to mention that I do feel a little bit better than I did yesterday about chapter 17. I think, I don't know, I just think I felt a type of way about the confrontation. Maybe I was just too in the scene and like my main character's feelings were bleeding into me, but I was just feeling really unhappy with everything. And it was, I don't know. I was just not in a good headspace with it, but I'm hoping that now that I've slept on it, I will be able to look at it with objective eyes when I go in to do my edit pass. I would like to beef it up a little, but I also don't know that is possible or even necessary, other than just like scratching a particular itch in my brain for like having all my chapters over a certain length. And anyway, it's 9:20. I don't have to go to bed as early as normal because I don't work tomorrow, but my partner may come to bed ahead of schedule because he had a very tough day and he was talking about how he feels really crappy. So I'm going to either do one or two things, depending on when he comes in. If he comes in like 45 minutes, I'm going to move to the recliner and continue working. If he comes in 2 hours and I was planning on working for another half hour, I'm just going to call it there. Well, unless I'm right at the end of the chapter. Either way, I'm going to try and finish this chapter either way, because that is the big goal, is to finish a chapter a day. I'm thinking this chapter will probably be another on the short-ish side, between 2,000 and 2,500 words. I'm going to stop yapping and let's do it again.
I need you now, won't you come back? Would you fall for me? I will fall for you. Don't you make no mistake, 'cause I'm all for you. Now we back to chilling in my crib now, and I know
Good morning. It is now Wednesday morning, and I have a little bit of an update for you guys. Last night, first, I will admit that I did get a little bit distracted while I was writing. I did log on to Honkai Star Rail and mess around with that for a little bit. Listen, a new patch came out and I just had to check it out. So there is that. But because of my situation today with me not having to work, I was able to stay up quite a bit later than I usually would and continue working on the scene, which is what I did. I was up until about 1 o'clock last night, working on chapter 18. And I will say that technically I did not finish chapter 18, but that is because I reached the end of what was going to be the only scene of chapter 18, and I just thought that there was just not enough. It was just too short. It was only like 1,800 words, and I know some writers think that that's a good chapter length. I am a long chapter girly, and so I decided what I was going to do is roll in the next scene that I had planned into chapter 18 as well, instead of saving it for chapter 19, because the two scenes are very closely linked. I think they could be the right length to complement each other. And that scene that I was bringing in was another one that I could partially copy from draft 1. So that's what I did. So while I didn't technically finish chapter 18 because I copied in what I could and edited what I could, but I just got to a point where it needed to be brand new stuff to update for the context. And I knew that it was important enough that I needed to be fresh while I was writing it, not at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, technically didn't finish chapter 18, but I did write something like 2,800 words, and I feel really good about them, mostly. I would like to look at the chapter with fresher eyes and make sure that it wasn't just nonsense. My goal for today, it will be to finish chapter 18 and then edit chapters 17 and 18, and then later tonight get started on chapter 19, which will be one that I'm hoping I can copy some over from draft 1 as well. So all things considered, things are still moving pretty quickly. I'm, dare I say, cautiously optimistic. That being said, I'm about to go take my son to the DMV for the first time to get his learner's permit. And then I would like to film a couple of videos and edit a couple videos today as well. And I would also just like to take some time to relax, because while this isn't going to be a super fun vacation for me, I am using vacation days to be off. So anyway, we'll just kind of see how everything shakes out. But again, my goal is to finish chapter 18 and then do the edits earlier in the day and then save chapter 19 for later when I'm in my drafting mindset. That'll keep me on pace, which is needing to finish a chapter a day. That's it for now. My word count is up over 52,000 now. I'm cruising right along. I just need to keep up the momentum. Hey y'all, it is now 2 o'clock. And first of all, the DMV adventure was a dismal failure. I apparently needed way more documents than I ever anticipated, even though I did look online for what I was going to need. Not only did they need his birth certificate, his student ID, and his certificate for passing driver's ed, he also needed his attendance record from school, an immunization record. They wanted something with his social security number on it. I don't have his card anymore. I might, but after the fire, I don't know if it was salvaged from the old house, and if it was, where it's at now. Probably out in the garage, buried in a box that we haven't opened in 3 years. They said the only other thing that they could take is a high school transcript with his social security number on it. And then they also needed proof of residency from me as his legal guardian. So they wanted a utility bill, but the way that our rent is set up is that actually all of our utilities are paid through our landlord. And so we don't actually have any utilities in our name. So I need to get a copy of our lease agreement and then a bank statement. And I was like, what are we doing here? It just seems all crazy that they need all of this just to get him, not even his permanent license, just his learner's permit. We had to make another appointment for 3 weeks from now to go back, which I'm a little bit nervous about because I'm really just concerned about his social. Really concerned. I don't know that we're going to be able to get a transcript. He has completed his freshman year, so he'll be a 10th grader next year. But it's just do they do transcripts for those? I've sent an email to the district because I also need his attendance records. But it's just why do they need his attendance records? Why wasn't his enrollment form for next year enough? It doesn't make any sense. Hold on, we're about to die. Why would you behave? Oh, why can't you behave? you recognize it, drop it in the comments. Sorry about the light. It is what it is. Then I came home and I farted around. I took some time to fart around. I logged onto Honkai Star Rail and I did some polls because a character I really wanted is rerunning, and I got him in just my first 10. So, but I have been saving for this purpose. But anyway, so that was like really exciting. And I played a little bit to get some more currency. Anyway, you don't care about that. Then I just sat down and filmed a video, and I was going to do another one, but then I realized it's 2:00 and I still need to go to the store, and I really just need to get over to my desktop and do some editing. Time she is running out with a quickness. I have quite a lengthy to-do list that is so far kind of sad and not getting done. So I am going to go to the store. I'm going to get some stuff for me and my daughter for our trip tomorrow, and then come back and do a little bit of video editing. I'm going to finalize the vlog that you saw last week. Just need to do a couple of things before I upload it, get that done and squared away and scheduled, so that way I don't have to worry about it on Friday. Maybe edit this video that I just filmed because it's just going to be a tiny bit complicated. And then it'll probably be 5:00 by then. And then my partner will be home, and then I'll have to pack. And anyway, I'm going to go do it before I waste any more time. Okay, y'all, quick little mini haul before I have to go start edits. Obviously, we are traveling, so this, like the cheapest little travel, like makeup bag you've ever seen. Some socks, because my socks are just disappearing, and I really like this one because it has a little bow on it. More socks. And then we got the travel shampoo and conditioner. I bought myself some new nail polish. Hello? You can't really see it, but it's like a brownish pink, and it's called You Don't Know Jacques. Makeup wipes, toothbrushes, toothpaste, body wash. Boring. Then, because I can't resist, I wandered over to the notebooks because I saw that they were already putting out like school supplies, and I saw this one. And are you ready for it? Corgis. Look how cute. Oh. I can't resist a notebook. And then the only other thing that I got was candles, because my candle game is lacking lately. I got this one, which is Clouds and Rainbows. And it is red apple, blue sky, clouds. How do you obtain a scent for that? And white woods. Very bright. This one, which is Alpine Forest. This camera does not want to focus today. Which is herbal, cypress, and red cedar. Ooh, I like that one. That one's, as you would expect, a little earthier. And then this one is my favorite scent that I have found at Walmart. It's Starlit Skies. And I have a mini version of this in my room here for when I'm sitting here at the desk, but I wanted one for the living room. And that is Blood Orange, Jasmine, and Sandalwood. And that's it. Oh my gosh, it's 3:30. I'm going to go edit, do that for a little bit, I guess. And then I'll probably get in the recliner and work on the end of chapter 18. I think that's what I have to do. Hey y'all. As you can see, it is no longer Wednesday. Actually, it is Thursday afternoon, late afternoon, and I am no longer in my home. I am in a hotel in San Antonio for my daughter's all-state choir convention. It's been a little bit of a rough ride since we last spoke. Yesterday, the writer's block was asserting its dominance pretty good. It wasn't just that I wanted to actively take a little bit of relaxation time. I truly was struggling quite a bit with the scene that I was in. It took me a while. There was also the fact that I was like, my daughter was feeling really like excited and anxious to get on the road for this trip. And so she was just like hanging out with me all evening, just for want of something else to do. So there was that too. There was just a combination of factors that made writing really, really hard to get to yesterday. So what that ended up meaning was that I did not really finish chapter 18, actually finish it until quite late in the night. And then I was able to get started on chapter 19, and I did copy in some stuff that I'm pulling for chapter 19, but I didn't finish it either. I think I ended up with like
2,400 words on the day, something like that. I think I'm up over, I'd have to look at my word count tracker. I've had so many other thoughts since then. I can't remember where I'm at in the manuscript. And then today, we got up early, loaded up the car, we picked up some items that we still needed, and then we got on the road. The drive itself was not terrible. I thought it was a 5-hour trip. It was just over 4 hours. I managed to listen to the first 42% of The Floating World by Axio on audiobook. This is the book I had heard has very strong, like Final Fantasy VII vibes, and I do get that a little. My only gripe is that it's a YA, and I just don't vibe with YA that much. I was hoping to get through the entire audiobook on this trip, but I only got through the first 42% on the drive up or down south. Anyway, and so if I only listen to it in the car on the way back, then maybe I won't finish it. Maybe I'll hit a stride and just want to end up finishing it on Sunday. I don't know. And then we got here, and listen, I have never visited San Antonio before. Never been here in my life. So I did not realize that their kind of philosophy for staying down where we are, which is on the Riverwalk, the big tourist draw. I did not realize that if you bring a car down here, they shoot you in the face. We had to pay a fee to just park at our own hotel. And then we walked down towards the convention center where my daughter's choir thing is going on, and there's a Denny's, and we're like, oh, maybe we should stop there for lunch. And you have to pay for parking at the Denny's too. So don't bring your car to downtown San Antonio is what I'm telling you. We did have a nice lunch at a cute little diner that was a little bit further out from where our hotel is while we were driving around trying to figure out what to do until our hotel room was ready. I didn't take any footage because I'm an idiot, but it was cute and the food was delicious and we had a good time. And then we came back to the hotel, we got unpacked and we just sort of hung out. And then I just dropped her off at the convention center for her first evening rehearsal. And now I am here. Where does that leave me for today? You might be wondering. Well, I do have to get some homework done. I have started it. I did a little tiny bit of work while we were just hanging out here in the hotel room. I need to put together probably the first, definitely like the front, like the title slide, and maybe like the first like actual content slide. It's only 5 slides. But we have to record like our speaker's notes, and anyway, that's the part I'm really dreading. Anyway, so I need to do that a little bit. And also, our hotel is a 10-minute walk to the convention center, which is not a problem, except that it's raining. So we got kind of soggy on the way there. And then as I was coming back, also got pretty soggy. Anyway, so I have to leave ahead of the 7 o'clock rehearsal stop time. So I have time to get there to pick her up. And then she has a meet up with the other students who are here at the convention from her specific school. They arranged like a little fun thing at Dave & Buster's. So that is probably going to eat up the rest of my evening. So really now is the only time I have to work for today. Tomorrow is a little bit different. Tomorrow we'll have plenty of time. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my project for like an hour, and then I would like to do with the rest of my time is edit through chapters 17 and 18. I was telling my daughter that when I do my edit passes, I like to read them out loud just because I like to hear it out loud. It helps with flow and catching typos and crutch words and all of that. But I didn't want to do it while she was here. So I think that's what I'll do for this block of time that I have. And if I end up having time to get back into chapter 19, I will. Her little group activity will be over at 9, but I could also see myself being completely wiped out by the time we get back from that. I spent the half the day driving and then all this walking back and forth. And anyway, that's the update. It's been kind of what I expected, to be honest. I knew today was going to be difficult with all of the obligations and the drive. I did not anticipate this part of town where we are staying to be so vehement that you can't park anywhere. The hardest part was we got down here and check-in at the hotel wasn't until 4 p.m. But she had to be checked into the conference no later than 3:30. So we knew we had to get here early. And then she also goes immediately from checking in to a meeting to her first rehearsal. The air just kicked on. Sorry about the noise. So anyway, so we knew we had to get here early, not just to get checked in, but also so she could have lunch before all of that got started. So we got here early, but we couldn't get to our hotel room yet. And then we pull in and the hotel parking lot is gated off. And it's you can only get back there with a key card. which we couldn't get until it was time to get checked in. So we couldn't park at our hotel ahead of check-in and then go find a place to eat. We had to like drive around and find a place to eat. We started just driving around, but there wasn't really a lot of like really obvious food places that we wanted to stop at. And so all I was looking for was a place to pull over and park so I could like search my maps and find us like a diner we could go eat at. And you couldn't, because every place is like paid parking. And it was just like, anyway, we eventually found a spot. But that experience was 0 out of 10. It did not make me very friendly towards traveling to this part of town ever again. I'll tell you that much. I say that, but like if I were to come back, I would at least know what to expect. And then we get to the hotel and it's like, oh yeah, to park your car here at the hotel where you are paying to stay, you also have to pay to park your car. And it's just like, how do people get here? Even if they're coming straight from the airport, they have to come here in a car. Are that many people coming here in Ubers? I don't know. Could not be me, but anyway, as you may know by now, I am not well traveled, and this is just another consequence of that. All right, enough yapping. I'm gonna get to work. We'll hopefully have more entertaining footage for you later.
Okay, y'all. Just a really quick update because I have to go pick up my daughter from rehearsal. It is just after 6:30, and I did about 35 minutes or so of actual writing. I did manage to do both my chapter 17 and chapter 18 edits. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am pretty surprised. I went through all of chapter 17 and didn't really have much to change. I think I need to actually read it in sequence with all of the rest of the book behind it to get a better sense of as to where it fits in the larger narrative. But I definitely feel like the tantrum I threw the other day after I wrote it was unwarranted. It's not bad. I think I did come up with a way that I might prefer to approach the scene, like just a slightly different way for Arceli to enter the moment that I might change if I have time. But the actual conversation, the actual confrontation she has with her colleague is not bad. I don't know if I was just like too deep in her head and feeling her frustrations, but it wasn't bad. I don't think. Of course, it's not perfect. It is essentially a first draft, that chapter was. So there's going to be things that I will want to tweak, probably. I mean, I didn't today, and it's been however long it's been, 3 days since I wrote it, and it felt fine. In fact, I tweaked chapter 18 more than I did chapter 17, which again was not much. And then I was able to do about 35 minutes of actual drafting work in chapter 19. And this chapter is also going surprisingly well. This is the one that I mentioned when I was like trying to put together a really quick outline for the second half of the book and trying to make sure if things will work with this new plot point with this reintroduced plot point, that I was like, oh, I don't know if this chapter is going to be interesting. It's really just kind of a nice long conversation between Arceli and her like handler, her like the person she's closest with at the agency, where they're making peace because that they were the ones who were like had the confrontation earlier, and they're learning more about each other and like really like starting to connect finally. And I was worried that wasn't going to be interesting enough embedded as it is amidst all of this action. But it's actually going really well. Last night after I went to bed, I kind of laid in bed and I was like, okay, I need a couple of topics for them to talk about in order to make this scene feel warranted. I jotted down a couple of ideas in the document, and as I'm putting it all together, it is coming out kind of nice, actually. I think this will be a really strong like relationship establishing scene for them, especially considering all of the trials they still have yet to go through together in the rest of the book. So I feel like that confrontation was their like, let me rethink that. Because like obviously the Dark Night of the Soul is a big moment, not just for, affects her relationships as well. So, but I do feel like that confrontation between the two of them was like a hiccup in their relationship. And this is where they are like really patching things up and understanding each other better, what is going to make that Dark Night of the Soul feel more punchy, because she now does feel a stronger connection with this character, I hope. Does that make sense? I kind of all put that together just now, actually. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. And it's mostly done because the second scene that wraps up this chapter, I basically just copied verbatim from draft 2. I'm going to read through it, obviously, and make sure that I don't need to tweak anything else. I just need to finish out this first scene. There's like maybe 2 more conversation points that I need to hit, but I've just kind of got the outline already in place. So hopefully I might even have time to finish it tonight. And then tomorrow, what I would like to do is finish my homework because I really didn't do that much in this period. Oh shit, I really have to go. Tomorrow, what I would really like to do is piece together chapter 20, which will probably be an amalgamation of both the draft 1 and draft 2 versions with probably some new stuff added in. But if I could do chapter 20 tomorrow, that would put me kind of not totally back on track, but it would just make me feel a lot better about my productivity on this trip. Anyway, I definitely have to go before they let out of rehearsals, so I will talk to y'all later.
And I know it feels right. I'ma curve other girls in my life, cause you the one that feels right. You the one that feels right. Hit you in the spot when it's late night. I know when it feels right. I know when it feels right. Couldn't see me with nobody else, cause you the one that feels right. You the one that feels right. I'm so damn sorry about me. Head in the clouds so I couldn't see. Hope you see my heart clearly. Hope you forgive me for all the things I said, things I did, never meant for it. I meant that I need some time to grow. I don't wanna grow to someone you don't know. You don't know.
Hello and good morning. It is now Friday morning. Just to give you a quick update on the state of affairs. Yesterday, after I last updated you, I walked back to the convention center to pick up my daughter and take her to her little choir social. What was funny was while I was walking, it's about a 10-minute walk, and I could not stop writing. That is one of the biggest benefits of having Dabble, which is, of course, my cloud-based word processor that I use, is that I can continue writing from my phone. And I was like locked in. I'm not going to lie to you. I was walking down the street, literally typing sentences. Now, I didn't get too many more sentences, but I did add more words yesterday. That being said, that is the last time I did end up writing, because after rehearsal, her particular school had organized a social for the students that are attending this convention from our school. And so we went to that. It was just at like Dave & Buster's. So she just went and played games while I just kind of hung out. And we got back to the hotel probably like close to 9:30. And we just were sort of hanging out. And then it was like 45 minutes after we got back to the hotel that she realized she had left her phone at the Dave & Buster's. And we had to, like, we were already in our jammies and everything, and we had to throw some shoes on and run down, to back over there, which is like a 10-minute walk, to try and find it. And it was exactly where she left it, which is like crazy to me. Like, as much as that child is made of chaos, she's got some sort of God looking out for her, because we were just stunned that it was still right there and it had been more than an hour. So then we got back, and it was like 10:45 at that point, and so we just went to bed because we did have to get up early this morning. So all of that to say, no more writing occurred yesterday. It is now 9:45. I did get up early. We went and got breakfast, and then I took her over to rehearsal, and then I got back about an hour ago, and then I laid down for a little bit more. I really wanted to take a nap, but I just kind of dozed. So I am now back at my temporary workplace. I really need to get a move on homework, or I'm going to be in real trouble. I'm going to probably spend the rest of the morning rehearsal time, which is only like an hour and a half at this point, working on my presentation. Then I have to go take her to lunch and bring her back, and then I will be back here for the afternoon, and I will use that time to do writing. This evening is not going to be like as intense with like activities. I do want to take her on a little like boat tour, which shouldn't be that long, just to help her, because she's feeling really like overwhelmed with everything. So I'd like to do something fun. That's just for me and her. So I'm looking at like maybe doing a little boat tour this evening, but it shouldn't be too long. And then she has to be like on vocal rest because the performance is tomorrow. So we should have a nice low key evening in here in which I can get more work done. I am going to get to work on my presentation. Anyway, I'll probably check in with you guys later this afternoon once I'm doing actual writing stuff. Okay, sorry about the noise. I am walking back to the convention center to pick up my daughter for lunch. But I just wanted to let you know, I did finish the slides for my presentation. So now I just have to like write the speaker's notes and record them. But I did manage to get that all done. So pretty excited about that.
So like I said, we are about to go to lunch. I'm gonna go pick her up from her morning rehearsal. We saw this cute little diner on our way to Dave & Buster's last night, so we're gonna hit that up, and I'll actually show you what it looks like this time, so come along with me. Oh yeah, also I've gotten 2 compliments on my shirt, which is just like, did you read the shirt?
Would you fall for me? I will fall for you. Don't you make no mistake, 'cause I'm all for you. Now we back to chillin' in my crib now, and I know it feels right, and I know it feels right. I'ma curve other girls in my life, 'cause you the one that feels right, you the one that feels right. Hit you on the spot when it's late night, I know when it feels right, I know when it feels right. Couldn't see me with nobody else, 'cause you the one that feels right, you the one that feels right. Now we back to chillin' in my crib now.
Hey y'all, it is now just about 4 o'clock, and I am wrapping up a writing session. I am just so close to finishing chapter 19. I got all the way through like the long scene where the bulk of the words are, where the 2 characters are like really just kind of having, it's not really a heart-to-heart, but they're just having like an open and honest conversation with each other. Finished that up finally. Feel pretty good about it. Obviously, I need to do my edit pass, and now I'm just working on editing through the second part of the scene, which is much, much shorter, and I copied verbatim from the previous draft. And I've just started reading through it, and I've already seen that it does need to be edited for context, not just like a line level pass. I was intending to get it finished before I picked up my daughter from the afternoon session, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, because it's just going to need a little bit more attention, which is fine. I want it to be good, and I want it to make sense. But because I wanted to see big number go burr, I decided to copy in chapter 20 from draft 2 specifically. Chapter 20 is probably going to be the last chapter that I can copy in bulk from draft 2. Definitely from draft 2, almost certainly from draft 1 as well, up until I get to the climax. Just because I just don't think I can copy that much from the fight scene. I'm going to have to, put on my big girl pants and rewrite that whole thing. And so I wanted to give myself a little boost at the end of this week by just bringing in all of those words. So with those words added, obviously it's going to need a thorough edit pass. I don't love the draft 2 version of this scene for draft 3. I do kind of think that it might work better if I did an amalgamation of the draft 1 version and the draft 2 version for draft 3. But for now, I am going to leave it as the draft 2 version, and then do a really thorough edit pass to update for context. I also was scrolling through it, and apparently I didn't even finish it. There's a gap in the middle of the scene where I guess I got stuck and then just decided to move on. That's just to give you an idea of where I was at. It is also the last scene I did write almost all the way to completion in draft 2, because in the very next scene is when I realized that I needed to put draft 2 aside and rethink the entire thing. So there is that. So it has the potential. I haven't read through it yet, but it does have the potential of being all bad and needing to be thrown out completely, just because of the mental state I was in towards the end of draft 2, which I do still have the draft 1 version I can use, but in some ways there are aspects of the draft 2 version I like better. Like I said, I'm not quite there yet. I just need to do a little bit more, maybe another half hour of work on chapter 19, and then my actual line level editing and, pass. But I don't know. I just wanted to feel like I did something good, really productive this weekend. That's kind of where I'm at. So I am currently sitting at 59,600 words, which is bonkers, cuckoo bananas to me, because I was just rewatching my vlog that I just posted today, which I will link in case you have not watched the first episode of this Crunch Diaries series. And anyway, when I started this crunch, I was at 37,000 words. And that was last Monday, which was only 11 days ago. And I am up to 59,000. So I have written 21,000 words. Or 22,000 words in 11 days.
And it just doesn't feel like I have done that. And I do know, obviously, the caveat there is that a good chunk of it is copied, but whatever. I have moved 22,000 words into draft 3 in 11 days. And that is, again, just kind of cuckoo bananas to me. Also good news is that Dabble fixed their progress bar for the entire draft. So I can say with chapter 20 copied in, I am sitting at the 62% mark, which is perfect, exactly where I want to be. That does give me some confidence that bringing in that plot point from earlier that was the source of so much consternation at the end of last week was the right move, because I am still on pace for the midpoint to hit where I need, because that means I didn't overcrowd this part of the book like I was worried about. Yes, obviously I inflated the word count total from 90,000 to 96,000, but that was actually based on the midpoint, even before I got to this other plot thing. I think by including it, I make the midpoint I'm contributing to the midpoint actually being the midpoint, thematically, narratively, and where it needs to be, where it needs to sit in the in the sum total of the book. Anyway, so yeah, lots to be excited about here. Yeah, that's it. Lots to be excited about here. I'm just feeling really, really proud of myself. I'm really, really glad that I have had time to do some real work on the draft this weekend. I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to write it at all. In fact, in Dabble, I marked these 3 days as days off from writing. The fact that I have been able to do some work, not a ton of totally impressive work, although today's word count will look totally impressive because of what I copied in. Anyway, so I'm pretty pleased about that. Hoping to have a little bit more time to write this evening as well, but we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to put my shoes on and I'm going to start the trek back down to pick up my daughter. We're going to come back. She's feeling tired, so she's going to probably take a little nap, and then we're going to do our little mini boat tour and get some dinner, and then it'll be back here to just kind of hang out for the rest of the night since she has a big day tomorrow. That's her performance. So thanks for coming along. I'm feeling so much better than I did 2 weeks ago, and I think that is really awesome.
Hey.
Walking back to our hotel, and just out of the blue we happened to pass. Hello everyone, good morning. It is now Saturday morning, and it may come as a little bit of a surprise to you, but I did actually get some writing done since I last spoke to you. After I picked up my daughter from rehearsal, she decided she wanted to come in and take a little nap, which I totally get. So while she was napping, I actually edited through chapter 19. I finished and edited through chapter 19, and then I started working through chapter 20. And much to my surprise, the first chunk of chapter 20 actually didn't need a ton of reworking. I think I got through about the first third, maybe the first quarter, and I didn't do a whole lot of reworking. However, after we got back from our little excursion last night, which was really fun, I'm sure that I've already inserted all of that. After we got back, I kind of was settling down in bed and decided to kind of reread through the rest of chapter 20 just to kind of get a sense of what I would need to do to finish it out. And almost all of it needs to go. So yeah, it is what it is. It needs to be rewritten to apply the new context, and just some of it was just not good. And like I said, it wasn't even totally complete. I wish I brought a notebook. I didn't bring a notebook, which seems foolish of me. I may have brought a notebook, but I don't know if I have a pen. So, because what I need to do is bullet point out the rest of chapter 20 and make sure that I hit all the talking points that I need to hit. I know how it wraps up at the very end, but like I said, I've got specific topics I need to cover. And so I just need to kind of get my head around how the first part of the chapter feeds into the the rest of it. I would also like to tackle some homework. I really do need to start thinking about the narration portion of my presentation. Even if I just do like the first 2 slides, I would feel a lot better about where I'm at with it. So I really only have like the next 3 hours to work, probably for the better part of the day, because almost all afternoon is going to be chewed up with the performance this afternoon. We'll be able to come back here after she's done. She will, again, probably want to take a nap, which will be fine, and I'll probably get a little bit more work done then as well. And then this evening, we are going on a little history walk ghost tour of downtown San Antonio. That will be really, really fun. I picked a time after it would start to get dark specifically, so from 8 to 9:30, and it's all walking. So we will get back and probably be extremely tired. So I've got a chunk of time now, and probably a little bit of time, maybe like an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours in the evening as well, to kind of get some work done, and that's about it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to let her sleep in a little bit, but I'm hoping to be on the road no later than 9:30. Get back home, and then it'll be like washing laundry and making sure I have work stuff and getting groceries and finishing my homework. So I anticipate today being the last good day to get significant work done, which is fine because I've gotten so much more done on this trip than I kind of anticipated, to be honest with you. I mean, it doesn't feel like a lot when you look at the word count maybe, but I think I am putting myself in a really, really good position to tackle the hard parts next week. My goal for this week was to get right up until the fight scene, and if I can finish chapter 20 today, I will basically have accomplished that. There will be one more chapter pre-fight scene that is like the preamble to the fight before it and then chapter 22 will be like literally the fight is kicking off. So basically I'll have accomplished that goal. I would love to get chapter 21 done as well, but I don't know. Unless I'm just really motivated tomorrow night when we get home after everything else gets done, which could happen. I'm not saying it can't, but then that sets me up nicely to do all of that labor next week. Everything to do with the fight scene, the preamble, the fight itself, which will be at least 2 chapters, and then the fallout, the immediate aftermath, which might be 1, might be 2 chapters. I would really love to keep it to 1. And then, anyway, I would not have called this, but I'm actually doing really well with getting out ahead of getting this manuscript in shape. My only concern is that because I'm rushing, I'm not going to be doing as good a job on the line level. And I did verify with Brielle that I did ask for line level critiques as well. So and I'm going to be I don't know, it's just the line level critiques aren't going to feel as helpful because it's going to be stuff I already am aware of. I just didn't get to finish in time. That's another reason why I'm trying to make it as clean as possible. I just know that as much as I'm trying to be cognizant of filtering, I'm positive I am still having problems with it when I'm just in draft mode. And I just don't feel like I have the time or wherewithal to really edit that appropriately. So anyway, like I said, but it is what it is. I'm mostly looking forward to the high level critiques, the plot stuff, because I just need to know. Okay, all right. Being vulnerable time. My biggest fear from beta reader feedback is that they're all going to come back and be like, this book is pointless. It's not good. There's nothing going on. Anyway, so I'm just really fearful that I will have done all this work for 2 years on a book that is still fundamentally broken, and that I'll have to put in another 2 years of work just to get it into a workable shape. And I know I'm only on draft 3, and this is the 3rd, and what I hope, dear God, will be the last developmental revision. But I'm just afraid that it's not. I'm just afraid that the feedback is going to be I see kind of the shape of what you're going for, but it still has a long way to go in terms of developmental plot stuff. That is my biggest fear. I know that there are plot threads in here that need to be fixed. I know that. And the only reason that they're not going to get fixed in this draft is because of the deadline. I'm prepared for that kind of stuff. But if it's just like I said, if they come back and be this middle section of the book from 40 to 60%, I didn't love, I will be devastated because that's the part I have also really, really struggled. And I don't know what else to do. Anyway, so that's just kind of my fears for getting feedback, is being told that it's still really rough and still needs a lot of developmental work, which I'm sure is normal.
I'm sure that's a normal fear to have going into getting feedback. I'm really looking forward to having a break too from this and thinking about a different story. Anyway, so it's just about 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to work on the draft for a little bit. I would like to spare at least an hour, maybe 45 minutes on getting the first 2 slides narrations written. Am I gonna have to do like transitions and shit for this presentation? Because I don't do that shit. As you know, I am not visually creative. And even just creating the slides took way longer than it should have because I'm not aesthetically minded. Anyway, so that is where I'm at. I will check in with you later and let you know. Cross your fingers for getting chapter 20 done and off the books today. Let's go.
It was 0 to 100. It was 5 in every moment. I knew every inch, gray eyes and Saturn tattoo. Wrote our names in the horizon. Artemis to my Orion. But I've learned if it's too good, it couldn't be true. Oh, it was everything till it was nothing. Nothing to say, no one to blame. Gravity pulled us away. Left in the dark, misread the stars, thinking that you felt the same. I crashed down to earth when you said it ain't working. My heart was still burning. Oh, you had my whole world at stake. But all you wanted was space. All you wanted was space. All you wanted, now I gotta replay. All I wanted, 'cause all you wanted was space. All you wanted was space. All you wanted was something to fall back on. A shoulder when it's all wrong, but when it's right you fight till all the good is gone, gone, gone. Oh, if you weren't afraid to fall, we could've had it all. Nothing to say, no one to blame. Gravity pulled us away. Left in the dark, misread the stars, thinking that you felt the same. I crashed down to earth when you said it ain't working. My heart was still burning. Oh, you had my whole world at stake. But all you wanted was space.
Hey y'all, it is now Sunday afternoon and I am obviously back in my home. We are back from San Antonio and thank God for it because I had just about enough. I loved getting to hang out with my daughter and getting to do all of the fun and exciting things that we did, but I am also just really, really glad to be home. I've already taken a nap in my own bed, looking forward to kind of getting back to real life. I'm definitely looking forward to not needing to spend money as much anymore and eating out all the time. But to catch you up writing wise, yesterday after the concert, which was very, very good. I'm so pleased and so proud of my daughter for making the all-state choir. They said something like over 1,100 kids tried out. It was a large group. It was probably about 200 kids from across the state, but I'm very, very pleased and very, very proud that she tried out and made it, and we got to have this fun experience together. Concert was amazing. We came back to the hotel afterwards, and she did want to chill out for a little bit before we went to dinner and our little ghost tour. So I sat down and I actually did finish chapter 20. It ended up being the longest chapter of the entire book by far. Just a hair over 4,000 words, 17 pages. I haven't edited through it yet, but I am skeptical that there's much to be cut as well. I think it's just, it is what it is, and it is what it needs to be. It covers a lot of ground. It is a central plot point of the B plot, and also at the very end there's that big like reveal at the very, very end that affects the rest of the book for the A plot and everything. So it's a really, really important scene. I am starting to feel like all my big important scenes are not action-packed enough, because a lot of times it is just people sitting down and having conversations, but that is something that I'm just gonna have to wait for beta reader feedback for. So, like I said, it is what it is at this point. I also did hear from Brielle over the weekend, and she confirmed with me that I did pay for the like most intensive critique package, like down to the line level and everything, which I'm like low key kind of regretting right now because this is not going to be as clean a draft as I want just based on the time crunch. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I would have gotten to do a very deep line level like pass before I handed it off to her originally because I only gave myself like 3 months. But it is what it is at this point. I have been doing these editing passes after each chapter in which I read it to myself out loud. So that way I can pick up on just a couple of things like crutch words and flow and things like that. And I'm also trying to do a filtering word pass. But I realized recently that I'm not doing as good a job on cleaning those up as I previously thought. I think I still have an issue with not being close enough to the main character. And I had really, really hoped to get a pass of the entire book done for that. I just don't think I'm going to have time. So that is just going to have to be something that I expect to hear critique on when I get my beta reader feedback and Brielle's feedback as well. I just know that that's going to come up because I can tell that I'm not as close to her as I need to be. It is now Sunday afternoon. Like I said, we got back about 1:30 and I ate lunch and immediately took a nap. I never sleep well when I travel. I do have insomnia, and not being in my own bed does not help my insomnia. I tend to just wake up a lot and toss and turn. And I also, as you may remember from the whole saga of my bed being broken in October, I'm a very, very sensitive sleeper and I need a very, very soft bed. And a lot of beds that you find in these hotels are very, very firm and I hate it. It feels like sleeping on concrete and my hips hurt. Anyway, so took a nap. My son texted me right when I was waking up from my nap. He needed to be picked up from a friend's house, so I went and grabbed him. Now I'm here. I do have a couple of like admin things I need to do. I need to finish my homework. I need to record that narration. And I think I probably need to like program in some transitions into the actual presentation itself, which listen, I know nothing about. Nothing. In the past, when we've done presentations for classes, they've just been like, hey, just include your speaker's notes. And that's it. And this is like, ugh. And I know it's just because I'm getting to the end of my degree program and they're like being a little bit more rigorous with requirements. I get it. I'm sick of it. So I've got to do that. I have to do that. I'm also not totally finished. I keep saying that I'm finished with the narration. I'm not. I need like a couple of conclusory lines just to wrap it up. So I need to write those. And then, so I got to do that. I do need to get back to my computer and I would like to get some edits for this vlog started. What else? I think, ow, I've got these little tassels and she's hurting me for them. I think that's it. Oh, I need to like do my laundry and I need to paint my nails. While I was waiting for my lunch to be ready, I took the nail polish off and I will be repainting them. Maybe I'll do that while I'm editing. But I think in terms of writing, I think for the rest of the day, the only thing I'm really going to do is do my edit pass of chapter 20 and maybe do a bullet point list of the next 3 chapters, which will be the like prelude to the big fight scene, like kind of the build up and the lead up as the main character is like going there and hearing about the situation. It's like a hostage situation that the antagonist has taken hostages and stuff. And so they're like trying to figure out like how they can like maneuver and get the hostages free. And then at the end of chapter 21, the actual fight scene itself will be triggered. And then the next 2 chapters will be the fight scene itself. I already know like how to break up the 2 chapters and like what will be the trigger to start the second of the 2. I just need to bullet point it out. As you guys may recall, the fight scene took a lot out of me in draft 1. It took I was in and out of the draft for probably like 6 weeks, avoiding it or adding a little bit to it and not really knowing how to proceed. I do remember that I was so like struggling to really get into it that I was doing that thing in first drafts that I sometimes do where I'm narrating literally every step the main character is going through. She got out of the car. She walked across the pavement and opened the door. She walked across the lobby and stood with her colleagues and listened to a debriefing. And then she teamed up, like literally everything. Literally every step. And so I'm hoping by bullet pointing out, also like this is a new version. Like there's not going to be much I'm going to be able to copy, which is also why I'm a little bit nervous and I'm trying to get out ahead of planning for it. There's not going to be much I can copy. It's going to be kind of a completely different setup. So I just want to bullet point out the setup and the fight itself. I do have a little bit more confidence in writing the combat because I've done it a few more times since then. So I don't think that will hold me up as much as it did in draft 1. But really my goal for this coming week is to get 4 yeah, like the next 4 chapters completely done, which might be a little bit of a problem because I am running out of time, as you know. Tomorrow will make it, I have 11 days left to finish the book, and I will have between 10 and 12 chapters left to write. I say 10 and 12 just because, I don't know, we'll just see how the chapters end up shaking out, because I'm not totally confident. We'll just have to see. The like last half of this act, which to me is going to include like the dark night of the soul and like how, like what Arceli is going through after this big fight scene where she gets her ass kicked. There's some wiggle room there. And I really do think it's important to bring in a brand new chapter that was in the original outline that didn't exist, that I ended up cutting when I got there in draft 1, just because it just never longer felt relevant. And I was worried about word count. It definitely is more important now, I feel like, because it is B-plot related. So I think it is important, and I may do some cutting of a different chapter that I had included just to fill it out, just to fill the moment out a little bit. Cut that up, maybe roll it in, include it all into one chapter. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, there's still some wiggle room in the back couple of chapters. So I do need to be writing a chapter a day. And if I'm spending an entire week on 4 chapters, that's not good. But I do have 3 of the last 4 chapters that are going to be copied in pretty much verbatim. Pretty sure. Minor tweaks. Obviously, I'm going to read through it and make sure that it still makes sense and tweak it for the context. I do think that the very last chapter will probably need some major rewrites, though. I originally included it that the last 4 chapters were going to be all copied, but I think that very last one actually will need some pretty significant rewriting, but that's fine. So, because those 3 chapters are close to 10,000 words on their own. I'm trying to hold on to that as like, I'm still gonna make it on time. And I still do think I'll make it on time. I think I'm just a little bit daunted by the fight scene that I have coming up and the rewrites to the last half of Act 4 that are coming up. But I think if I can sit down tonight and bullet point out at least the next 2 chapters, like the lead up to the fight scene and then the first half of the fight scene. No, I'd really like to do all 3 of them. And then hopefully over the course of the next week, I can just sit down every night and knock it out. I hope. It would be really nice if I could have like 3 days, just like 3 days before I hand it over to do a really quick read through of the entire book. That would be really nice. Maybe with those 3 days I'm saving by not using them to write those 3 chapters I talked about. All of that to say, I think I'm going to wrap up this vlog here, and then we will get started with the next one tonight. So thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support this channel, please like and subscribe or consider leaving a comment down below. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part of my San Antonio portion of this vlog was. I don't travel much. I'm not very well traveled at all, and I really don't enjoy it a ton, to be honest with you. I'm very much a homebody, but it was really fun to see new places, have new experiences, and get to enjoy those experiences one-on-one as a parent with my daughter, who earned that trip through a lot of hard work and a lot of personal sacrifice, in terms of her time, and get to reward her with those experiences as well. In my next video, I will be celebrating my 3rd anniversary on YouTube. I'll be talking a little bit about my growth over the last 365 days, some goals I have for the coming 365 days, and also just kind of doing a little bit of a highlight reel of what I have felt have been my favorite videos of the last year. So I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.
All you want